Good morning. I'm Rowena Crosby.
And I'm Deborah Renner, and we're your co-hosts for this show. Thank you for joining us for the next 17 minutes for your IT show. Nope, we're not talking information technology. We're talking your Invisible Toolbox, the show that's going to examine the invisible tools that are essential for working effectively with others.
And we welcome you to this broadcast. We are pre-recording this one because we've got a calendar conflict, and we look forward to joining you live again next Monday morning at 9:03 Central Time.
But today we're going to explore a useful multi-purpose tool we've hinted at in previous episodes, and our social media posts are going to provide some skill building around that tool.
And we're also going to introduce a new segment to the program that we call Your Development Challenge. We'll show you how to use it, and then we're going to challenge you to use it in the week ahead. And we have an exciting announcement and an exciting invitation that we're going to make towards the end of the show, so make sure you stay with us. So let's get started.
Well, telling people our ideas, sharing our expertise and knowledge, that can be a wonderful gift that we give to others.
Sure it can.
And it can lead to greater understanding and fabulous results. But unfortunately, sometimes those things we tell people fall on deaf ears.
Yeah, why is that? Why don't people always respond positively to these brilliant ideas that we share?
We're always more convinced by our own observations than on what someone else tells us. And so if we can get someone thinking or talking about a subject that we really want them to explore, that is going to uncover insights and things we might never have known.
So our primary challenge is to guide the thinking of another person.
Yes, how many times have we found ourselves saying, how many times do I have to say such and such to someone? If we're doing that, we know that we are missing the mark, and we've got to have a tool to prevent that.
And today we're going to examine that new tool. It's a tool for guiding the thinking of another person, and it doesn't matter if that person is a customer, a leader, an employee. This works at home too. It can work with family members. And it can be transformative both in relationships and the results that we can see. The skill of guided thinking questions has many applications, and it's a tool that we're wise to keep handy every day. So we're going to start our program today with a segment that's becoming familiar to those of you who are repeat viewers, and we call it our Mythbuster. And this is where we take a look at a commonly held belief and we debunk it.
Credibility. We all want to establish credibility. Many of us think that the more we tell people, the more we know actually equates with them thinking of us as credible. That's a myth, and we're going to debunk it.
So what research shows us is that the person doing all of the talking and all of the telling is not necessarily the person who is being perceived to be the most credible. Actually, research tells us the person who is perceived to be the most knowledgeable and credible is the one who is showing interest, asking questions, and listening attentively.
So by talking and telling, we actually might be getting the opposite effect of what we're going for.
Very much.
All right. We could come off as arrogant. We could come off as self-absorbed. We could come off as boring. Those aren't exactly adjectives that people want attributed to them.
So the art of asking questions does far more than just get us answers or provide us with information. It's a skill that can actually help us appear more knowledgeable and credible. Definitely a skill worth learning.
It has a lot of other numerous benefits. We're going to take a look at specifically 5 benefits from this. And the first one is by asking questions, we create a comfortable environment. People actually do like to talk rather than listen. And so when we ask them a question, we provide them that opportunity, and it creates that comfortable environment.
And our second benefit is actually one of our favorite ones. It's a way to gently signal disagreement without being disagreeable. When we disagree with someone and we do that straightforwardly, we can sometimes create a defensiveness that leads us into point-counterpoint and an unproductive conversation. But with a well-placed, guided thinking question, we can actually challenge the other person's thinking in a gentle way and even challenge ourselves and have a productive discussion.
So I might even, instead of saying, I don't think that will work, I could say, how do you think that will look 3 years from now if we do that?
Absolutely.
Right.
That's a good example.
Guiding it. So the third one is that we are going to provide valuable think time for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We think at 700 words per minute. We speak at 120 to 160 words per minute. When we ask a question, we're actually allowing someone else to speak, which allows us time to think.
And our fourth benefit is you can actually direct the thinking of another person. You can cause people to talk about the things you want them to talk about based on the type of questions that you ask.
And last but not least, by effective asking, we can actually control the pace and the direction of the conversation. We've been taught since we were little by our teachers and our parents that if someone asks us a question, we're supposed to answer it. So have the people that we're asking questions of. And when we ask that question, we're actually controlling the pace and direction of the conversation. That can be very valuable in terms of guiding people to what we want to explore with them.
So some completely counterintuitive benefits. We think that talking and telling is to our advantage, and actually that's a myth. It's the asking questions that can deliver those benefits.
Well, with all these benefits, let's take a deeper look into the invisible tool of the week. Have you ever been frustrated that you proposed an idea in a meeting and no one took action on it?
Have you ever wondered how to get your manager to see the value of taking a specific action?
Have you ever offered advice to someone and they didn't follow it?
Have you ever pointed out the solution to a customer's problem only to have the customer argue with you about it?
Or have you ever given an employee specific directions only to find out that didn't matter, that it didn't follow through?
So we've all been in some of those situations. And what is it that all of those scenarios have in common? All of those are examples of tell statements that didn't deliver the results that we were after. So what exactly is a tell statement? When we want to make a point, we tell someone what we think. We tell them our point or our idea, and that's what a tell statement is.
So let's look at some examples. Let's take the sales process. In sales, we many times want to tell our customers we offer great customer service. We have wonderful innovation with regards to our products.
And let's not stop with salespeople. Leaders use tell statements as well. How many times do you see leaders who are frequently and clearly communicating the expectations only to find out that behaviors don't follow?
And employees use tell statements. They want to maybe improve a process or present an idea. How demoralizing is it when we do that and nothing happens because of it?
So when our tell statements aren't delivering the results that we had hoped for, we need a new tool. Now, in past episodes, we've referenced the use of open-ended questions, and most people are familiar with open-ended questions, and they can differentiate between closed and open questions. We know that closed questions result in a brief answer, often a yes or no response, and we know that open-ended questions can facilitate dialogue and help in our communications. We also know open-ended questions start with words like who, what, where, when, how, and why. So most of us know that much about them.
What is less well known, however, is that there are different variations of open-ended questions. And when we have a knowledge of the variations, we actually have a more advanced tool to be able to use. If we're asking open-ended questions and not getting the results that we're seeking, we're probably using the wrong question. And so today we're going to focus specifically on one type of advanced tool, the guided thinking question.
And we're going to point you to some resources as well as talk about this. And those of you that follow us on Tero social media already know that we post useful links several times every day on all of our social media platforms. We're going to highlight two of them right now. So the first one that we want to highlight is a link to a brief video that is actually designed for sales professionals who are trying to use questions effectively. And it's called How Can I Direct the Discussion to a Certain Topic? It's a Tero Tips video, and links to that will be posted on today's social media platforms.
It sounds really helpful.
It is.
Our second social media post is a Harvard Business Review article by Amy Jen Sue, and the title of it is The Questions Good Coaches Ask. This is actually an article geared to leaders, and it entertains the idea of preparing the questions we're going to ask when we meet with an employee before we actually sit down to that meeting, so that the meeting results in something that doesn't sound like an interrogation. That's going to be on all social media platforms on Wednesday of this week.
And now we're going to move to a new segment of the program we call Your Development Challenge. And it's going to challenge you to challenge yourself and challenge your habits and perhaps try something new and a little different. So Deb and I have compiled the list of tell statements that we commonly see used in organizations. And together we're going to brainstorm how to convert a tell statement into an open-ended guided thinking question. And we'll present that to you, and then we're going to invite you to try this on your own throughout the week.
So guided thinking. Let's think of the sales process again. And in the sales process, many times the thing we want to tell our customer is that our products are of the best quality.
Oh, yes. Salespeople are always saying that.
And all of our literature tells all of that. But how do we guide their thinking by asking the appropriate question?
That is such an important thing because salespeople are always talking about their quality. What does that look like from the world of the customer? We can find that out with an open-ended question. We might say to the customer, when is the last time you had an issue with product quality and what was the impact on your business?
That would very much give you some information on what their history has been, what's happened to them, what's important to them. What about how will quality in your products affect your reputation?
Oh, that's an important thing. Gets them thinking about larger things than just the sale at hand. And we can also use it to talk about things positively. We can ask a customer, when have you had a particularly good experience with quality? Tell me about that and what did it mean to your business? So then we're talking about it from the customer's perspective and what quality looks like to them instead of just our tell statements about how awesome our products are.
Well, and I can see how we would be learning so much about the customer versus just telling them about us.
Absolutely.
Pretty important
and that's a
shift.
real game changer in the sales process.
Well, let's switch gears and let's take another scenario. This one happens many times where a leader has to propose to the employees a budget cut.
Oh, that happens almost in every organization at certain times throughout the year.
So what are the guided thinking questions that the leader could present to employees to help them think through that process?
Yes, that tell statement, we're doing budget cuts, is generally not really well received. So what can the leader say? Well, if we can put it in their world and have them talk about when they've had to look for cost savings in their own life, that'll maybe make a better connection.
Well, it makes it personal. Recognize that this is just something that happens on all scales.
Happens to all of us.
What about making it linked to value? So if we think about what things are costing the company in comparison to the value that they're bringing us, so they can start to think of the fact that whatever we do has to bring value back, value add.
Absolutely. So ask the employee, where have they seen examples of that? Or we can ask the employee, where have you seen examples in your own work environment, in your own department, where there are opportunities for cost savings?
That actually influenced the culture in terms of thinking about the importance of cost savings, or what would it mean to the business if we miss our financial targets? That affects everyone.
That affects everyone. That's in all our interests. Let's try one more. Let's pretend in this scenario you're an employee and you'd like to propose a process improvement change to your leader. Rather than just telling them about your idea for process improvement, how could you use guided thinking questions to get the leader thinking about it?
Well, time is always important.
Yes.
Time to every organization. So what if you proposed, what would it mean to our business if we could cut the time spent on this process by 50%?
What leader wouldn't want to hear more about an idea if you asked an open-ended question on what to do with 50% more time? Or money. You could also say, what would it mean to our business if we could save X dollars on this particular process?
Oh, absolutely. Or what opportunities could we pursue if we had more time or more resources?
Excellent examples of guided thinking questions. So instead of arguing your case, making your point, and hoping people see the wisdom of your brilliance, this is how you can use open-ended questions to guide thinking to be able to further your goals. So now it's your turn. For the development challenge this week, we invite you to think of what are 3 tell statements that you would like to make this week, doesn't matter who the audience is, and challenge yourself to convert those tell statements into open-ended questions. And play with this week and notice what happens. We invite you to share your stories with us. You can email us at ideas@yourinvisibletooolbox.com, or depending on how active you are on social media, we know many of our viewers are, go ahead and post some of your success stories, and we encourage you to use the hashtag Tero tips. Well, thank you for joining us today. If you missed any portion of this show, or if you'd like to share it with others, you'll find the entire program loaded up to Tero's YouTube channel. Tune in next Monday morning at 9:03 Central Time, where we will be streaming live again, and we'll be looking at another advanced questioning tool that can help us in our works and in our careers. And we're very excited to be able to welcome a guest. Jeanette Larkin, who is the president of Business Publications, will be joining us next week.
That'll be great. We welcome your feedback and suggestions for future shows, as well as your input on your development challenge this week. What people challenges are you facing? Let us know. If you can email your suggestions or ideas to ideas@yourinvisibletooolbox.com, we will incorporate those in future shows. We also hope that you will find us on your favorite social media platform and check out the posts that we talked about this week. The other thing is, if you're not subscribed to Tero's YouTube channel, please subscribe, and that way you'll be alerted to future shows. And a big thank you to Kyle Plummer, who is our cameraman and director, for work on the show today.
And now for the exciting announcement and invitation that we promised to leave you with today. This month, April 2017, marks the end of Tero's 24th year in business and the start of our 25th year. I cannot hardly believe it. It's something all of us at Tero are very excited about, and a milestone that we look forward to celebrating. We're going to host an open house at the Tero Learning Center on May 4th. That's a Thursday between 4 and 7 p.m. here at our Learning Center in Des Moines. And we'd love to have Tero graduates, Tero clients, and friends of Tero join us for this celebration.
We do hope to see you here. And also, if you are able to come to the party and the celebration, you will receive a complimentary copy of the book that's coming out this month that we wrote, that is called Your Invisible Toolbox, The Technological Ups and Interpersonal Downs of the Millennial Generation.
And we'll sign it for you.
Yes, we will sign it personally for you. So that will be waiting for you at our celebration. And if you are going to come, if you could RSVP to kgreth, KGRETH @tero.com, that would be wonderful. We look forward to seeing you.
And that will help us with our planning. Well, thanks for joining us today, and that's a wrap.